Oh, maybe Nolan's going to come in tonight.
Maybe. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Well, at least you're loyal to it, so it's
Yeah, I
better
was
to.
thinking about not even doing it tonight because I'm going to end up having to take a 3 hour break because the company ended up getting me a load today. Normally they don't. That's why I scheduled it for Saturday. Michael actually wants to switch it to Wednesdays because he's at home. So if I can't do the space, he can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even last week, like I kept cutting in and out, and with him being at home, it would actually make it easier to stabilize the room.
Yeah, and he's probably more tech savvy.
No, he's got his own issues too, like going back and forth with the different devices and different accounts, and it gets confusing.
Well, it is a lot to kind of grab all the parts to put the puzzle together, so I can understand.
Yeah. So how you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Just I noticed this last week the market dropped even more. So this is the first time that I've seen the market, or at least the spot market, uh, go way down. So it was a little weird because we had a blitz right last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even with the blitz, I did not see the rates go up. So I was a little surprised, like what was happening. I think this the tariff war, I think, is affecting the industry right now.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Because my company, my company actually informs me on like what the rates are and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're actually starting to get their own customers. They just got a contract from Washington out to Charlotte, North Carolina, because they have their own freight that is coming out of North Carolina. Like it's their product. They own the product, and they've been moving it on the rail and having it picked up in California and then brought up to Washington because yeah, they had to move it on the rail, but it was taking too long and costing too much. So now now that they got all their over the road trucks filled, they want us to start going out, like a couple of us drivers going out there to get it. So they ended up getting a direct contract from Washington to North Carolina that's supposed to start like hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's great
And
news.
yeah, but they got that contract at 350 a mile. It comes out to 350 a mile plus fuel surcharge, a 40-cent fuel surcharge. So 390 a mile total for dry freight. That's for your drive in.
That's pretty good rate for nowadays.
Exactly, and that's where the rate should be at. And that's what me and Michael have been saying is, these shippers are paying more. they're paying way more, and the brokers are holding out because so-called capacity. They're playing the market. They're manipulating the market.
But I also experience with an overflow of new brokers that they're doing their cutthroat through them as well, and passing the decline to the carrier. I've
Hmm.
experienced that as well. They're now brokers are going through cutthroat, and why not take a cheaper rate if you guarantee capacity, right? So
Right.
we're looking at that angle as well, where brokers are super aggressive nowadays, and there's plenty of competition in the broker side as well. So it's just a
Yeah.
mess right now.
Yeah. Well, you got the brokers, you got the megas. They're all competing for the same contracts, and not only that, just like we pointed out before, majority of the loads are actually coming from mega carriers, and they're just passing it down to other brokerages because they either don't want to put it out on the load board themselves because a lot of independents won't take from them, right? Because
Yeah,
they're a mega carrier, right? So
sure.
they push it down to another brokerage like TQL, CH Robinson, Arrive, whoever, right? Whatever
Yeah,
other brokerage that they want to work with, right? So they're still taking their cut. The brokerage takes their cut, and not only that, like I've even did a load for a company back in last September or October. It was a Pepsi load, and it went from Pepsi. XPO actually held the contract with Pepsi. XPO gave it to RXO. Then RXO gave it to my company that I was driving for. Now Pepsi owns a brokerage. They have their own brokerage authority. Okay, and they gave the contract to XPO, which XPO has a brokerage authority as well, which they gave it to RXO, and RXO is a motor carrier and brokerage as well, along with warehousing and rail and all kinds of crap, right? And RXO is actually a 5PL. XPO, I believe, is still a 3PL or 4PL. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But anyways, so it's going through three different brokerages before it even gets to the final mile carrier.
wow. Well, with this raise, I'm gonna uh, guess that it's cheaper to pay an independent than for a company to pay for the equipment and for the employee. Because man, with these rates are dirt cheap, and why they take them, I don't know. But this is what it looks like. It's cheaper to broker the load than to put a truck under it. So this is
Uh huh.
what this rates look like to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's carriers that's taking the loads just because, well, they say, well, it covers my fuel to get me into a different area so I could try over there. Well, you're not even covering your fuel. All you're doing is putting wear and tear on your equipment for no reason. You can actually deadhead and still spend the same amount of money and save on the wear and tear.
Well, let's look at all the trucks that are broken down, going down the road. How many trucks do you see in a day that you used to not see? More and more trucks are breaking down, and they're going to be there's going to be less capacity when the market actually flips. Which, for me, if people followed my lead, it would be a real problem for the brokers because I will never touch another brokered load again, ever. I don't care. It does not matter to me.
I won't either. I
I
won't put.
parked my
Yeah.
truck.
I won't put my truck back out on the road unless we have our own freight.
Yep, that's right. And I won't ever drive my own truck either. I'll put somebody behind the wheel, so I don't even care.
And this is was
Like they've lost a 30-year driver because of it. So I mean, when they ask why all of the experienced drivers are leaving the industry, I can tell you.
and this is something that probably the Federal Motor Carrier Administration doesn't relate into safety. But just like you mentioned, Mitchell, this is about safety because when trucks are running out of funds, you have to prioritize what's more important to fix on that truck. But while you go under Chapter 11 per se, you're already running where with an unsafe truck because you have no money to put into it. So it is very unsafe when you have no money for repairs as well. So you understand that. I understand that. We understand that. But I don't know if the administration considers this a safety issue just like we see it.
They don't. They see it as a financial problem.
Also, one thing that I've noticed is that we call this backholes, right? Like sometimes, like Chris was mentioning, you for example, you go into a dead zone, you go into Colorado, for example, where there's nothing coming out of there. If you have a reefer, you might have something out of there, but if you have a flatbed or a drive in, it's very tight in there. But many are doing what Chris is mentioning. Well, I'm just going to take this $500, $600 load, at least to cover my fuel costs. But is that really an honest way to do business, or are you really hurting the industry there for the locals? Why can we just charge what is an honest or a more decent rate? But just because supply and demand, I understand is king, but it's a really honest business. You know, it's kind of unfair for the locals because how can you move out of there with an honest rate unless you have a direct account? Which is why it's very important to educate these drivers. That's why I like American, because he says, "Well, I might not have a lot to contribute." No, you have a lot to contribute because in the old school, before you got into a truck, you would secure a direct account. Now, the newcomers, they believe, okay, I get in a truck, I get into a load board, and this is how I'm gonna do my business. This is not the right way, right? To my experience, the load board was only in extreme circumstances just to get you out of a dead zone. That's what it was for back in the day. But now it is seen as a primary source of business.
Well, no, actually, it wasn't. The backhaul was not to get you out of the dead zone. The backhaul was actually to get you back to your line haul, which was the only thing that you could actually do back in the day. You had to have an account before you could get an MC, and then you had to wait for one to become readily available. So, no, you're kind of incorrect in that manner because a backhaul has not existed since 1980 when they deregulated the trucking industry, which was actually a deregulation of the brokerage because they came back in 84 or 86. I can't really remember which it was, but they came back and they said, this will destroy the industry. 84. They said, this will destroy the industry. So Carter and his peanut growing self, decided that he was going to disband the ICC and then say because they were corrupt. No, they weren't corrupt. It was because they wouldn't go along with this stupid ass idea. And this caused a huge problem where, the ICC's gone now and there's no regulating body at all. Well, with that being said, they say, okay, well, now it's a safety issue because dispatchers of large companies were running drivers like their ass was on fire and like they were robots. And, we were starting to get fatality accidents up and up and up. And they came back and said we need a regulating body for safety on the trucks. Well, instead of saying, okay, this is just for the trucks and starting another regulating body for the brokerage, they just said, oh, we're just going to continue handing out MCs. And they had zero regulation on anything other than the safety on the trucks. And that's what they're in the process of doing now, is getting rid of the MC so that we don't even have the ability to say, hey, you hand out the MC, you need to regulate this body of assholes, really, right? And I say that because I'm talking about brokers, but, you know, there's no regulating body, and after they get rid of the MC and put everything under the DOT, there will be no way to even say, hey, you should be doing this. So there will be nobody to regulate the brokers. So we've got a choice at this point in time. We can either unite, okay, and we can work together, or y'all can take 50 cents a mile. It don't matter to me. I mean, it's up to you. I'm building the tools. I'm trying to help the industry. I'm not in it anymore. Understand, I am not in it anymore. My truck has been parked for 9 months now, and my trailer's been parked for 2 years. So I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm taking care of my own. I'm doing what I need to do. But I'm trying to fix it because I love the industry. Now, whether or not people want to use the tools is up to them. I don't care. Like, it's there, use it, don't. I don't care. I built it. I'm almost ready to launch Freight Slaughter. And when that's launched, you know, it'll be a free way to fight back against Carrier 411. You get nominated because you wouldn't take their load or for some other stupid reason, and they don't have a legitimate claim against you, put them on Freight Slaughter. Then the customer that they're trying to call and get a load from will be like, nah, I don't think so. So you'll be able to shut the broker down because they screwed with you with a free tool that I am providing. Now it's up to you if you want to use it or not. I don't care.
Yeah, well, I was
Hold on real
referring.
quick. Hold on real
Uh,
quick, please. Kathy, can you put the documents that Mitchell was trying to send me? I can't get them over on there because he sent them as a download, and I can't get them into the comment section to where I could get it up on the jumbotron. So if you could get those in
Yeah.
there, I'll get them up on the jumbotron, please.
See, here's a perfect example. We're just a bunch of truck drivers, right? We care more about this industry than any association that is out there saying they're fighting for you. But you know what we find? We find that the driver gives us the most pushback. We also find that the brokers are united across the board. They got some kind of email or something where they're telling each other what the hell is going on. Because I'll give you a perfect example, right? Before all this shit happened, rates were $330 to $370 a mile. Overnight, everything dropped to almost nothing. There's nobody that even knows the market that good. How did they all, in synchronous, right? United, with total, you know, whatever, all of a sudden decide that the rates were going to go to $1.50 or less overnight.
well, what I seen in that in that topic, what I seen is that load boards kind of give them an idea where the rates are at. So they fish early in the morning. Let's say, for example, 5 a.m. Eastern time. They'll start the
But
load.
hold on. I get where you're going with that, but how did the load boards even know overnight? How did they know? Because the data is created from the loads that are moved. So how did they know overnight that they dropped almost $2 a mile, or more than $2 a mile? Sorry.
Well, again, I believe that the resources that they have, these load boards, they're broker friendly, I believe, because I suspect highly that the apps that they have us download, let's say, for example, TKL or any other company with Sky, these macro points, I believe this data is accumulating to where they can track these commercial trucks in the area. So I believe they're probably sharing or buying this information, or maybe they can see it as a broker, the capacity in certain areas. So when there's not a lot of loads, and they do know how many loads they have versus the capacity on site, why would they pay the $4 when they have the leverage?
Well, wait a minute. You're going too deep, real quick here. Okay, how do they know how many loads they have? They're all supposed to be individualized, right? There's how many companies out there? TQL, CH Robinson, JB Hunt, Schneider, Swift. How do they all know that it? And I'm going to tell you after I'm done, grilling you a little bit. But how do they all know in synchronous, okay, that they are bringing the rates down? How do they know that? How do they know overnight that the rates are coming down? Because those loads are up the next day before freight's even moved. How do they know?
Well,
There is an answer.
Well, to me, it is exactly by accumulated dating. That's how everything is so controlled nowadays, by numbers. Even sports, right? They gather data to make decisions, even by the pitch. So to me, it's all this data that they accumulate and they have us used even through highway, right? Like they know everything about us. So by accumulating data,
What are they doing through highway, though? What are they doing through highway? See, you're starting to get it, but what are they doing through highway?
I believe they're creating data to share and accumulate to sell it to the best, highest
Oh, it's
bidder.
worse than that. No, it's worse than that. It's way worse than that. They're all part of the same organization. It's called TIA. Okay, the TIA is on the board of directors, or the DAT and Truck Stop are on the board of directors of the TIA. Okay, Transportation Intermediate Association, the lobbying group for the brokers in Congress. They make their money by a percentage of the annual gross made by their members, which consists of brokers. Right? Okay, so
Oh,
they
brokers,
control the load boards.
load
They
boards,
control the.
factoring companies. Yeah, they're all members of the
Okay,
TIA.
right. Okay, but we haven't got that far yet. You're right, but we're just getting to the point where how are they manipulating the rates? Everybody says it's because of data. It ain't gonna be because of data. If the TIA says right now that the rates are going to be $3.50 tomorrow, guess what? Everything's going to come out at $3.50 a mile. Because the average that is at the bottom of that screen on the load board is going to literally say just that. So people need to understand how this system actually works. They are united. They are in cahoots with each other. And guess what? We're the dumbasses out here sitting here going, well, I don't care as long as I get what I want out of it. I don't care what Tom, Dick, or Harry's making. And this guy's stupid because he's taking $1.50 a mile. Well, the fact is they're not taking $1.50 a mile. Okay? The fact is brokers can now say they're dispatchers. So the whole system is rigged against us. And the only way to fix it is through unity and saying we're not going to take it anymore. That's all there is to it. That's the only way to fix this situation.
Welcome up, Kathy.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, my original point about the old school way and what American was saying was this: even post deregulation, we had no cell phones, therefore we couldn't even see any load boards. I didn't know about load boards up until the 2000s. So even after deregulation, we couldn't download apps or anything like it. So the way of doing business, even like for at least for myself up to the 2000s, was you had to have a direct account, which is exactly what Chris was saying.
No. That has been around longer than that. I'm going to remind you of a time period, okay? When you walked in the truck stop, you remember that little black monitor that had all the loads on it and you had like 10 phones sitting there at a booth and you sat down and you called the broker? That was that. Dial a truck.
Right.
That's what that stands for.
Right. I remember the screens at the truck stops, but
That
even
was
if they
that.
were there,
That
we were not relying on them. That's what I'm saying. In other words, it's kind of paradigms, right? Let's go back into the root of the problem. If you are already relying on load boards, if you are relying on a broker, you're destined to fail because your success is determined on a broker and not in your own control, not in your own business. So the mindset has to change. We need to go and get direct accounts like in the old days, because when you're relying on a broker, just like you're saying, they already have your number. They already gonna determine the rates. They're already gonna have you kind of chained to their system, into facing cameras, into bidding, into all this mess. But if you have a direct account, you don't have to play the game in their conditions, right? So that's why the old school way to me is a good answer, because just like Chris was saying, they managed to secure a direct load at 350 per mile. That's what the honest work is at. That's where you're getting your honest rate at. So we need to go back into the state of mind where you don't have to get into the game if you don't have to, but
You're-
it's a choice.
you're a little, you're a little.
You're rubber banding.
I'm
You're losing service. But
Probably. It's 390 a mile.
yeah, 390 with the fuel surcharge.
Yeah, and
But
even with that, brokers don't pay you surcharge, and I'm pretty sure they're getting some.
they're getting fuel surcharge.
Yeah, so that's another thing, and they actually probably declaring 2, 3, 4 hours on the dock, and they're paying you nothing. So
Hmm.
they're coming up in every angle. But to me, the answer is getting direct accounts, just like Chris is experiencing himself right now.
Okay, so here's the issue that independents run into on getting direct accounts, and my company even runs into this too. And they have, with their box trucks and their over the road trucks, they've got over 100 trucks altogether, but they still have issues getting the contracts because of the capacity, right? I mean, they still get them here and there, and far in between. But so as an independent or even a small carrier that has 5 trucks, 10 trucks, they're going to have that difficulty on getting those direct contracts because shippers do not want to deal with hundreds of different carriers. That's exactly why we opened the brokerage up. The brokerage is for the capacity.
Correction. That's why we started this. We opened the brokerage because we found out we couldn't do it how we originally planned on doing it, which was just getting a bunch of trucks and going out and getting loads. Can't do it. Not until a carrier can be giving a carrier a load.
Yeah, I already knew that wasn't going to happen before you even started this.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that
But
was the original plan, was just to go get loads and give them out to friends and family and get people involved and go get more loads and so on and so forth. But you cannot do that legally.
no, you can't. Not legally. You can do it. It's just not legal. And it's a big fine if you get caught.
Well, not only that, but there ain't too many people that actually do it.
Oh, there's a few people that do it. But anyways. How's it going, Kathy?
It's going. I have a sore throat, so I'm a little hoarse, but and I cannot put up what Mitchell gave or Mitchell sent to you because it's like 71 pages.
Oh, okay. So that's probably why I'm having the issue with it too.
It's like a handbook, and so there's
Right, the
71
file's,
pages of
yeah,
it. Yeah.
so the file's too big.
Yes.
Okay.
The only way I could do it is if I took a picture, screenshot of each page and posted it.
Yeah, that's gonna take forever. But anyway, well, um, well, let's go over the Unity because I do have that up. I was able to actually pull this up off of Google, the actual meaning of Unity, and I copied it and pasted it off of Google AI. Unity is a state of being together or in agreement or the quality of oneness. It can also refer to a combination of parts that create a whole. Examples of unity: the unity of the United States after the Civil War, the unity of a sports team shown by wearing uniforms and team colors, the unity of a group of people working towards a shared goal, the unity of a literary or artistic production, unity in other contexts. Unity may also refer to a 20th century American religious movement. Unity may also refer to the game engine used to create video games, including Pokemon. Yeah, the rest of it's kind of off of what we're actually going after. But, anyways, I actually wanted to do a space because there's a lot of misconception on what Unity is in the industry when I talk to drivers. And Unity doesn't mean that you have to agree on every single thing. As long as you're working towards the same goal, like what we're doing, we're trying to fix the industry, right? There's a lot of drivers that say that the industry needs to change, that needs to be, brought to better terms. So why not come together and actually get that to change? That's unity. You don't have to agree on every single thing. You can agree to disagree as long as you're still working towards the same goal. Anyone else got anything on it?
Well, yeah, just like I mentioned briefly last time, when I was running that group, that group, Past, Present, and Future, it was about 600,000 members there. I experienced this firsthand, and I believe if we don't put priority trucking and the bread we're bringing to our tables, we're never going to get this right. I believe that it would put politics on the side, racism on the side, gender on the side, every other thing that is very valuable and important to us. We can get it right by using the truck as a uniform, just like the example you read in what unity means. If we just focus on us being truck drivers, or even like Mitchell says, he says, "Hey, I don't care, you guys do," but he loves the industry. When we have a common goal and use trucking as a uniform, and we have a vision that we can share and agree together, we should not let our egos, our second priorities, stain the vision. You know what I mean? Because this takes a lot of open mind, humbleness, and willing to join the vision. So to me, it's very important for you to describe what a unity is, but also for us to humble ourselves and to put our emotions, egos on the side, and jump into this vision and support it rather than tear it down with our own personal agendas or priorities that we have. That's something that to me was lacking. To just focus not on every other thing, but just in the one thing and how we can make it better.
Yeah, like Michael was trying to explain earlier, the TIA, these brokers, the brokerages have actually came together and unified. They have unity. They ended up getting the factoring companies in, the ELD providers, every single other aspect of it. Even the mega carriers are part of it. They're all working together.
So I think we need to brainstorm, because what is it right now? Is the 90% owner operator still?
Last I knew it, last I read, we still held 86% of the industry
Well, I think
on authority.
I think 86%, there's a lot of power in it. We just need to
Yeah.
brainstorm of a mass movement, right? If we don't have a mass movement and learn from the history of what has failed, we will never come up with a plan, because I don't know if you guys agree, but a lot of us have lost faith in organizations and groups, because most of them, if not all, have sold out. Once you have a movement going, and the movement is getting stronger, all of a sudden the lead sells out. And that's why
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that are suspicious on the sidelines, just waiting to see who is true to the vision, that is true to the goal of not giving up until you see the vision fulfilled. So to me, this is kind of a very challenging thing to do, because you look at the opposition. You have organized groups, you have a lot of money involved, you have a lot of lobbying through the process. So it is a brainstorming thing, but you need to have the heart of hearts in there to be faithful to this vision, and to the people that are gonna work along with you. So to me, I think by looking at history and this protest and these convoys, what did they do wrong? Where did it go wrong, right? Because we've seen this
Uh-huh.
protest, this convoys uh, every time something happens. But what did they do wrong? I haven't even begun to research all that to say, well, I have this idea. I don't know if you guys have or not.
We have. Part of the problem is because of the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, deregulation. Um,
Okay,
Kathy actually,
what was that question again? I missed it.
why are you just gonna cut me off?
Because I want to know what the question was.
He's asking what the problem is from history. He's
Oh,
asking
okay.
about the history
Okay.
and what led up to where we're at now.
Okay, back to Kathy. Just wanted to know what the question was. I missed it.
Kathy knows a lot of the history on it. That's where Mitchell gets a lot of his info. That's kind of where Mitchell and Lloyd come in with the track podcast as well. They know a lot
Yeah.
of the history of the trucking industry, and a lot of it comes from Kathy.
Well, thanks, Kathy.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm part of my family's trucking company that's been in business since 1970. And I do research. I've been doing research for 10 years on the trucking industry, more consistently the last 5 years, for a couple of different groups that have tried to do something for the trucking industry. But as far as those are concerned, I will tell you firsthand, a lot of what I see is exactly what Ignacio was talking about: egos, not coming together and understanding that because we might haul different freight or run different areas or be in a different situation financially, we all have something that might be important to us, but not as important to somebody else. So there's a lot of infighting. Some people say brokers, broker transparency is the most important. You'll hear people say ELDs are the most important, but in the same set of comments, you'll see somebody say, no, it's not ELDs, it's the hours of service. So we have so many issues going on in our industry that are working against us. And depending on who you are and where you're at right now, they're all, numbered in a different list for each one of us. And a lot of the groups, like the group I was involved in, um, it was two people wanting everybody else to do the research work and give them information, and then they did with it what they wanted, and the rest of the people really didn't have a say. But there were a lot of very smart, very educated, and very knowledgeable people in that total group, but the egos of the top two got in the way, and it got frustrating because they were not open-minded. You have to remember, and I will tell you, I am about tough love in this industry. Just because we believe something is true or have heard it 1,000 times does not mean it's true. Um, and I've been a truck driver. I've been driving truck for 36 years, and I will tell you, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and it does not do any good to spread falsehoods or misinformation, to be able to advocate for yourself with that type of information. It's really bad on social media. Some of the largest creators are sharing statistics and information that not is not even true, and then everybody believes it, and everybody gets so frustrated and upset. I think people let their emotions take over instead of taking a step back and taking a deep breath and just concentrating and figure out, okay, what's the first step? Um, I mean, our industry is a mess. We're almost to the point where we've already known owner operators that have gone out of business, company drivers that are struggling because the carrier they work for is not a good carrier, but they're stuck. Um, so right now, it's really hard, I think, also because the emotional side, people are losing their livelihood, and just, you know, taking 10 steps backwards. And that's really hard to deal with. So um, I would love if we could get some unity in our industry. And I think in this administration and some of the things we have coming up, like the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act, if we push and we can advocate for ourselves or as a group, that we might actually be able to get at least some things changed and improved. Now, we're never going to get everything we want. And the truth be told, some things we're going to have to compromise on. That's just the way it is. Our
Yep.
industry has gone to the negative, and these things that are going on or we're dealing with now have been going on for years. We can't expect to change it all in 6 months or even a year. So, and that's
Oh,
the
we could,
problem.
but
Some
there's only
people
one
are
way.
to the point where they want it to change now, and that's not going to happen. So that's the realistic side. But
Oh, it
anyway,
could
I
change,
just
but it would take complete uh, cooperation. But that's not going to happen. So I mean, on the
no,
realistic side, it's not going to happen. But yeah,
no,
and everything that you talked about, it all goes back into the same system that they have formed. Right? They got the ELDs now are working with them to make a geo tracker so that they can see where the location of all the trucks are. The insurance companies are working with them so that they can get forward facing cameras and this, that, and the other on. And they've got their system, and it's up to us. Do we want to, continue just taking it? or do we want to say enough's enough?
No, I agree.
And it's not up to me, because it doesn't affect me anymore. I have the skills to make it happen. The question is, does anybody want it to?
Well, I will be honest with the ELDs. I did a video. I'm on TikTok. That's the only social media account I have on TikTok as Trucking History. And the ELDs were originally fought for by the insurance companies. So the
Yep.
problem I see, even if you got the mandate overturned, the insurance companies would instead require you to have an ELD, or they would not cover you, because they were the ones that started pushing in 1986 and petitioned the DOT.
You're right, but here's the thing. If you have enough people
You're cutting out again.
not the trucking, I'm sure I am. I'm kidding, is what I do. If you have
Yeah, you're rubber banding really
one
bad.
company. Okay, well, I'm done for the night then, because this is where I'm at. So have a good night. If I'm rubber banding right now, then this is where I'm actually at.
Now we can hear you.
Well, I'm back in the truck now. I can't stay inside the truck. But anyway.
What, you can't take your phone with you? Have it in your pocket?
I did.
Oh, that's bad. But even with the ELD mandate, you're never going to get it overturned. That actually went through Congress. So there's that. A law cannot be reversed. It could be re-advised. It can be, rewritten. And that's what we need to push for.
Me right now, from a distance, and just as a newcomer to you guys, one of the biggest issues that I see is that we don't have numbers, and I think, like Kathy says, thank you, Kathy, for your information, and thank you for your service to you and to your past generations. Thank you for that. But I think that if we don't work on getting numbers, let's say for me, for example, I trusted like NOAA, right? The new group for owner operators and all that. I really trusted that the idea that they had going was going to make some waves, right? Because the way I envision it is, if you have a group for owner operators or carriers, or single trucks up to like 10, whatever it is, that they're going to represent you, and when you see a group where it's over like 5,000 up to like 600,000 like we had, you have a lot of noise in there, and every time you might share something, it is very valuable, and you start gaining the trust of people. But it takes time, just like Kathy says, it's going to take time. But I believe that me, from my point of view, is that we need to get this social media going into one place. I know it's very challenging for us to think, wait a minute, we have English, and then we need to get the Spanish speaking, or even the Hindus, whatever the idea is as a general. But for right now, I believe if we can come up with one group with everybody in there, but all of us sharing daily information, or even say hi to whoever's coming and just start building numbers, I believe one platform or in different areas of social media, I think it will grow very fast. What I'm saying, why I'm saying this, because I've seen it firsthand. When I joined that trucking group, it was 36,000. But when it ended this past year, it was 600,000. And it was super busy. And unfortunately, we only had 3 people on it. but you guys have a ton of wealth of knowledge. You know, Kathy has a lot of knowledge. You guys, Chris, but most importantly, you guys have the heart, and that's what we need: the heart, the integrity, the love for the job that brings the bread to their home. So we have the most basic requirements, which is caring for common good, right? And we don't know it all, right? I'll be the first one to say, you know what, I'm willing to learn from all you guys, which I'm always learning, right? But we have to have something come together and start working on it to create numbers. And then through the numbers, one of the ideas that I believe that we might have the mass movement or power to do is to get together and to start boycotting one broker at a time, you know, where it might hurt them, you know, financially. So until we get the numbers, until we can have this meetings here in a broadened audience, that's the time where we're going to start making some noise. But if we're only meeting here with 510 and we don't invest every day, every hour, like some of you guys are saying, some of them are going belly up by the day. So we're wasting time by not creating at least one kind of platform where we can all share all this information that we know individually, but we can all become maybe moderators, some of you administrators, and somebody controls it. And when we make a mistake or we don't do something that the vision requires of us, you know, we can talk behind doors and say, hey, look, listen, you can do more of this or you can do less of that. But we need to start making some noise, even if it's 5 of us, 10 of us. But this way, when they see what we think, when they read what we know, maybe some of us will join and say, well, let me give these guys a chance to see if they're really honest, to see if they really know what they're talking about. And the numbers will join because I realize that there's so many on the sidelines just waiting to join a faithful group, join a vision that makes sense, and most importantly, to join somebody that's not going to sell out. That is my opinion on this. I don't know what you guys think about it.
So pastime, isn't that what we actually built?
Yeah, I tried that, right? I tried doing it on your on that site, and I tested it, right? I put like 2 or 3 posts. There's nothing there. We need to create more activity in there by all of us, not just like, for example, me, because you only gave me the one for Spanish, which is I believe not too strong in social media. I believe you also gave me the link via email to the other site. But I believe, like, if we create, for example, a Facebook page, right, where we can all put
yeah, I sent you the invite. I sent you the invite for the public group.
Is that through
and then
Facebook?
Michael, yeah.
Okay, so I suggest.
And then Michael made you the admin for the Spanish group.
Oh, okay. So that's a starting tool. So now what I would say to you guys, if you guys have 5 minutes to invest in this vision and this movement, put some stuff in there. Join me and get involved.
Yeah.
So those rooms are designed so that we can talk to people we can't talk to. I can't speak Spanish. I put the moderator in charge. Go invite your friends. That's your room, right? That is where you guys congregate to talk about what we're talking about in Pastime for a Change, the group. If they can speak English, they can come in and get the information and start passing it on. The whole idea is I can't speak 127 different languages, but I can make 127 different rooms.
Can I share something with you?
Go ahead.
Okay, you know why one room is good enough for all of us? Because that's what unity is. Let me tell you what happens. By me being involved in that group, they knew I spoke Spanish. Obviously, my English is not perfect, and you can probably tell that I'm not 100% American, you know, by my language. So what happens in this group, right? Even though it was 100% in English, I had so many people call me from all over the world, message me from all over the world. And there were so many Spanish speaking people that reached me through Messenger to talk to me, to engage with me on their concerns. And even if they speak a few words of English, they're gonna join the group or they're gonna speak to you in Spanish in that one group. That's what I've learned. So by us designing division right away, that is against unity. So just like we say, right, any driver that's behind the wheel in America needs to speak at least the basic Spanish, no, the basic English to be able to work here. So why not support that vision as well? You know, if they're behind the wheel and driving here in the United States, they need to know the basics. So if they run into this group, they're gonna be forced, and if they don't know, they can always message me because I do speak it. But that's the way I learned through the other
Ignacio,
group. Yes, sir.
that's what I'm telling you. We do have a public space that's English. I sent you the invite for that.
But
And
what
then
I'm saying
Michael
is,
added you into the Spanish side. Yeah.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, why don't we put everything together in one so we can all engage in that one, and we can invite more people in one place so we can all meet together in one place. And that's what unity is, because we need the numbers right away. And believe me, when, let's say, for example, you, Chris, you put some today or tomorrow, that's something that's going to be engaging with the public. Let's say Chris or Kathy or myself, we put whatever it's in our hearts, whatever we learn about the industry. We share the good news, like, for example, the blitz. We share the conditions of the storm. We share the closure of a interstate. If we engage daily in this one platform, they're gonna see that there's people involved in this, and they're sharing good information as well as daily activities. And I'd be more than happy to engage in this platform, but to be together, being active in this platform daily, this will create numbers. That's what I learned on the other one. And I think it was in like 5 years that we grew from 36 to 600,000. This is what unity to me is, when you just have one place and everybody joins there. Now, there's barriers of language. Uh, I know Spanish. So again, when people wanted to connect in Spanish because they had difficulties communicating in English, they would message me privately and I would engage with them. If I share the stories that I was involved in with all these drivers from around the world with different languages, you'd be surprised. But this is what I learned. If you want numbers, if you want unity, and if you want to grow fast, or you want to create a mass movement, let's put everything in one place so people can see that we do care, that we know a little bit as a group, and maybe they can see our hearts, maybe they can see our vision, and maybe they can join us. That is just my opinion. You know, I'm open to anything else.
Ignacio, that's what we've been doing. Everything that I post up all over social media goes into Pastime for a Change Facebook group.
Well, I don't see a lot of activity there by at least us. I don't see much going on there.
Yeah, the only one that's been posting in there is me. Because there's
Well,
not
maybe
very many people in there. There's only 27 members in the Facebook group for the public group.
so maybe that's the issue that I'm talking about. Maybe we all need to engage in that one platform. And just like me, I never had Twitter or X, but because I want to join you
Michael will
guys.
post up too in there. You know, when he's doing his posts, he posts up in there too.
Yeah, so I believe that we study it, right, which is the app that is more active. You know, I know, for example, me coming from Facebook only, it was super active. You know that, Chris. You saw the
Yeah.
numbers, you saw the activity, and it grew tremendously. And language was not even a barrier. In fact, there was, like I said, so many people engaging behind the group there through Messenger, just asking questions, telling me stories, asking for help. So to me, there's a very good chance that we might grow, but we need to engage in it full-heartedly. We need to invest at least 5-10 minutes a day to put something in there so people can see that it's active, that it's alive, that we care, that we're moving. And maybe more and more will join. And once we have this group and we're all joining, we can share it with friends. We can talk to people out on the road. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to go to truck stops, have interviews, share flyers, but we need to get moving. If we continue to meet like this, to me, it looks like the diner back in the 80s, right? When we can have a meal and talk about millions of lives and to see who can piss the furthest. It got us nowhere. But if we actually get into this vision and share information and interact in the daily trucking activities that we do have, people might like what we have to share. People might relate to us. And who knows, they might join that vision. And once we have enough numbers, we can make some noise, maybe boycott this, boycott that, or don't go there, by exposing events, by sharing the news, by daily having interaction with people that join the group. This is what I've learned, but this is the only idea that I have. I don't know. Like I said, I'm open-minded, and if you guys have anything else there, I'm more than happy to join.
It's exactly what we've been trying to work on for the last year and a half, 2 years.
But let me ask you a question, Kay. I've been to the truck stop, right? I've gone and I've talked to people. I've been doing all this stuff. I actually am ordering some headsets that will actually translate back and forth so that I can talk to them. But how do you get people interested in something they don't understand, right? Because the industry is not read, write, and speak English anymore. I don't know if you know that or not. That is not the law anymore. It has been changed. So literally, read, write, and speak English does not exist anymore.
Well,
but
the answer to that is this. Like let's say me, for example, I've been going to truck shows, right? And there's, for example, in Ontario, one of the biggest groups that was there displaying their trucks happened to be Hindus. But when I ran into them, I introduced myself and I asked them, about Gandhi, the trucks, and their daily events. I asked them about their challenges of the day, and we get to interact, and I tell them, look, we run in this group, and if you can join us, check it out. A lot of them joined. Not only did they join, but they were starting to put up some information, some of their pictures on there as well. So this is how you reach them as well. But to be honest, that group was so diverse from not only here in the United States, but I had people from all over the world contacting us and asking things. They wanted to invest. They wanted to create an app, things like that as well. So to me, a lot of the pictures or some of the basic words, I mean, they can look them up. Just like you say, they might be barriers, but there's also tools to help them translate what they're reading. And they were very much engaged, So to me,
Ignacio, have you looked at the room that I gave you? Have you looked at how I put stuff in Spanish and in English, and I put the actual room to Pastime for a Change, the whole group where I want everybody to go that understands, that can start passing the word, is in that group. It's in English so that people that speak English can understand it, and they know there's another place that everybody is meeting at, so that they can get people together and they can go back and tell people that I can't reach, that only they can reach, right? That is the idea of it. There is one group, it's called Pastime for a Change, public room. That's it. Pastime for a Change is a public room. It's a public group, right? It will be in every single room, and it will say, this is the English room. Please come in if you understand English, and then spread the word, right? But if you don't go and get the people that we can't reach, okay, it's not going to happen, because there are just too many people in this industry at this point in time that we're told, if you don't know what you're doing, go home. You don't belong here. It's time to change that.
I agree with you, and thank you for the sentiment. I can relate to that. I went through that back when I was young, but
I I was in the generation that did it.
oh,
Now I have to look at it and say I fucked up.
well,
I was in that generation. I'm 32 years in this industry.
okay, well, I
So
understand you.
I was in that generation.
I
Now
under
it's time that we say, do we extend our hand and say, hey, you bleed the same as I do? If you drive a truck, we need you. Period. We need to form unity no matter what color, creed, creation, sex, religion, doesn't matter. If you drive a truck, we need you to help us to take back our industry because they have hijacked it.
Okay, well, we agree in that vision, right? So to me, I guess if you already have everything together in this one group, me from somebody that I will commit to this group, that platform that you have set up, I would only I would only invite you guys to support me to create some data, to put some information if you have it, or Kathy has a lot of wonderful stories there from the history of trucking. If we can just share, a high in there, or a picture, or something that we learn, or a storm coming, or the blitz coming, if you can join me and start putting some stuff in that group, and hopefully whoever runs into this group will join us. I believe it will pick up numbers real fast, because I've seen the growth in a group where it was dead to where it was at, and I don't know, maybe because they felt threatened that somebody hijacked it, but to me that was my experience. And like I said, thank you for your sentiment. But when we are there, the administrators, whenever somebody comes in there and tries to discriminate, or unload their hate on somebody, you can eliminate them. You can get rid of them right away. That's why we need the administrators, or the what is it,
Yeah.
the moderators, to control it. But I believe if we all engage in this one group, create some data to download it there, and even pictures, or even, hey, God bless you guys, whatever is in your heart for that day, we can just engage in it. Maybe we can see the numbers, and as we continue to share some information in there, or just simply daily events, we can share it to our friends, we can share it even to our enemies. But if we have content in one place, and we start inviting people, and we're engaged in it daily, I believe that would be a place for us to gather numbers in a very fast manner. But it's up to you. That's the only way I know that it does work, because I already done it.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent with Ignacio. I think because there again, we are very diversified in the trucking industry that I just quickly looked at some of this stuff on the page. And I think if you diversify a little bit more, like Ignacio said, just a simple good morning, have a good day, drivers. With me, I'm big on data research and education. And that's one of the things I try to do and want to do more of on my TikTok account. A lot of drivers don't even know how to um, comment on the Federal Registry. I did a step by step tutorial on that. You can add things in like that. How to check their PSP if they're a company driver. You can do a step by step tutorial how to recognize double brokering, things like that, where you have a variety of information draws more people, I believe. Like I said, we're all very different, and what we want and need can be different. So if you diversify more, you have more of a chance to bring in a larger number of people.
Thank you, Kathy. That was well said, and that is exactly like what I'm saying. And I believe that, like you said, Kathy, is not 100% bulletproof, but that's why we have the administrators or the moderators to control the group. Because just like everything, right, you're gonna have some bad apples. But if we're active in there, if we're engaging in it and supervising it, it will grow very fast, especially with this information. That is gold. And who doesn't need to know about their score, right? Who doesn't need to know about history? That is wealth right there. And a lot of them don't know, like, for example, how to move tandems, how to control the weight. What is the difference between a van, a reefer, and a flatbed, or where what's happening to the market, right? We can sit here and talk amongst us, but if we can share this at daily things that we come into by the news or by our own personal research, that is a tons of well, because I like what you said. It's educational, and this is what the industry needs. To me, I'm a strong believer of etiquette, because that old school etiquette is lost, and we might hate people that are not acting courteous or with respect, but we fail to understand that maybe they don't know any better. But by this suggestion or this comment that you make, Kathy, it goes along with it. Maybe they just don't know. But if we educate them, at least they have a chance to know what we're expecting, or at least what we would want to see. For example, some of these new guys, let's say, for example, let's say the Hindu community, I've seen guys coming the wrong way, washing their trucks with the windshield wiper squeegee, and not carrying parking anywhere. Maybe that's their culture. Maybe they just don't know any better. So me, myself, like yesterday, I came out of my truck. I see a hotshot driver hauling some pallets in an open trailer. And I suggest, hey, bro, I don't mean to intrude into your business. Can I suggest something to you? And say, yeah, go ahead. And say, did you ever think of maybe putting a crush rope behind your load or in the front so it won't shift when you slam on the brakes, just in case the four-wheeler crosses your way because they missed their exit? And he says, you know what? Actually, I had a pallet that fell on me last week, but I was trying to figure out how to fix that. He says, and you just showed me how. So things like that we can share there at the platform, because every day there's new drivers, just like we talked earlier. How many drivers, good drivers, that we lose to emissions, to e-logs, right? We even had these e-logs, or me, and when the e-logs took over, these good drivers left the industry. So why not just try to educate them and try to teach them about etiquette, about policies, regulations, about safety, or even just daily events, like what does it look like to load and unload a van versus a flatbed, and I believe people will engage in this because it's everyday life to them. And why is it important? Because that's how they get their bread, daily bread. So to me, I continue to say, well, this is what I've seen. This is what works. And if we all engage, because I know you guys, all of you guys have tons of knowledge and wealth and experience. This might work. At least I will be kind of curious to see what happens in a month, to see how many numbers we gather on people joining as we continue to share it.
Yeah, I mean, all the info that I've got, I've already posted up. I mean, I can repost all the stuff again. But yeah, I mean, most of my stuff that I know is business side. That and, quite a bit of regulations, but
Well, it's a suggestion. I will again.
yeah,
I only tried it, and I didn't get many hits or not much engagement in it. I will commit myself to engage in it again this week, but I will do it maybe like 10 times more to see what happens. But I'll
have
invite
you
you
posted
guys.
up in there?
I did, but the way it came across me through your link, one of them was via email, one of them was through X. But to me, I only worked because I was so busy running that group that I even got rid of Instagram and TikTok because I was trying to cover too much. But as you noticed in that one group, it was so
Mhm.
active that I didn't even have time to just even engage to the level that I really wanted to. So to me, I committed to just that one group and to try to engage even daily because family, business, as well as engaging in a platform, man. It's you only have so
It's a
many
lot.
hours in the day.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
it's a lot.
and that's why I
Trust
was
me.
asking you guys. You guys are very wise. You have a lot of experience. You have the same vision, the same heart, the same passion. If you guys can join me there, start putting stuff there. I like what Kathy has. That's very interesting. Like even me, I would like to know what she has to share. How you guys thank her for? I'm wondering what do you guys thank her for? What am I missing? So I'm even intrigued. Like what she's got to share with us. So I'm even willing to grow and learn from her.
Have you posted up in the English group? Because I haven't
Yeah.
seen nothing from anyone except me.
Well, the link that you share with me, I believe that's what it was, and that's what I'm saying. Like even between us, we're having a challenging time to know where we post things, and we don't know where it ends up at. That's the problem. So to me, we make it a basic Facebook page
Well,
where we
yeah,
where we
if you're posting up in pastime for a change on the English site, everybody in that group should be able to see it. Unless
and
unless Facebook is monitoring the group.
and that's what I did, but I didn't see no engagement there. That's why I'm bringing it back up because what's going
Because I
on?
know
First.
I've done like 2 or 3 posts just this week in that group.
Okay, so that's good. I gotta get back in it. I commit myself to you guys and to the group to engage in it. And like I said, I invite you guys to join me so we can not only just meet Saturdays, but we can kind of meet there daily. Whoever has the spare time, I'll be more than happy just to commit. But if you guys can join me, that'd be great. Hoping these numbers when can come and join us. And once we see a little movement, I'm pretty sure we're all going to be encouraged. I'm pretty sure we're all going to be motivated to press forward. And by that time, once the numbers grow, you have these options for them to share it as well. So if they run into interesting things there, they're going to share with their friends, with their family, or whatever. That's how it grows fast. So to me, like I said, I'll engage in it, and I invite you guys to join me. Hopefully, we're all posting and engaging in the same platform.
Yeah, the one that I sent you was the English version of Pastime for a Change. I don't have access to the Spanish or any of the other languages.
And I will continue to do the Spanish one as well to see, because I know you have a young lady there also running it, but I didn't see much engagement in it as well. But I will continue to try the
Yeah,
Spanish
not
one as well.
Nialis. Nialis isn't really active. She's actually focusing on other stuff. She's trying to run for office out in Florida.
Oh, got you. All right. So then, as we continue to grow on this platform, you guys tell me, hey, Ignacio, you can do more of this, you can do less of that. I'm open to grow, and I'm open to stay within the boundaries of the vision. So to me,
Igno-
yes, sir.
so I think we need to do some testing because I'm thinking the Facebook group is actually nannered. Like Facebook is blocking it. Because if you're
Oh,
not seeing my post in there, because like I said, I've done at least 3 posts this week in that group. I just did one today.
Okay, I'll investigate it to see if I have any issues. Because if we don't have access to it, then we just they probably feel the threat about it already. But
Hmm.
if not, we can create another one, whatever it is, because I believe this movement is good. I believe you have good people here, and at least hope is the last thing we must surrender to. So I'll give it a shot this week, and then I'll investigate these platforms that you share with me, and I will engage in them. But again, if you guys see them, engage in them. You know, even if you say, you know, hey, have a nice day and thank you for your service, drivers. Whatever comes into your heart, because sometimes, like me, I'll be completely transparent. You know, I'm a man of faith, and the reason why I joined that group is because I serve the Lord, and because I've been divorced twice and I had my challenges on restarting life twice. And the Lord knows I cried behind the steering wheel. That's the reason why I joined that group, because I know a lot of drivers go through challenges every day. And to me, it was just trying to encourage somebody that was having a rough day, or somebody that had to start all over, or somebody that was an addict or struggling with alcoholism. So to me, that's why I joined that group. And boy, I was trying to bless somebody, and I got blessed 10 times more just by engaging with so many wonderful people. That's even the group on my Facebook page. Most of these friends that I have there are from engaging in that trucking group. So I got a lot more than what I gave just being engaged in the industry. But that's why to me it's very important, because I've seen the growth in it, and actually the love in it. Of course, the challenges too, right? Because we had a lot of knuckleheads that were just there to disrupt the love and peace of the industry. But I'll go back into it and kind of study it. But I'll suggest you guys kind of support me in putting some stuff in there.
Yeah, like I said, I've been putting stuff in every single week. Just last week, I probably did 4 or 5 posts. Just this week, I've done at least three.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
I'm actually going to do one right now.
Great. Kathy, have you ever studied the protest, the history of protest and the industry? Why did they fail, or what good came out of them throughout the history?
Just a little bit, not a lot. I wanted to get into that. I do work full time. I'm in North Central Indiana, and like I said, I am part of my family's trucking company. We have 15 trucks, and I run Chicago in the suburbs every single day, and I do at least a 12-hour day. So I try to get the research in when I can, and I just went back to school for the second time. The first time I wanted to expand my education on our industry and the supply chain, because I think sometimes we get lost. This is our little niche, but how is this niche part of the bigger picture? So I went back to school for logistics and supply chain management, um, to find out what our link in the supply chain does, and how it affects other parts of the supply chain and vice versa. And I am really big on education. I know not everybody is. Some people are out here just to drive to make money, but that doesn't mean you can't educate them to help them help themselves to do that in a easier or better way, or to be more successful. So but back to the research, I have been wanting to get into that more. Um, I think it has gotten more difficult because of the politics and the lobbying. You have to remember, a lot of people don't realize ATA has been around since before the first Motor Carrier Act in 1935. ATA was founded in 1933. So they are
Yep.
almost intertwined with the government. Um, The only thing
Not
that we
almost.
can
I would
do,
say they are, but
well, they are, yeah. I mean, ATRI was founded in 1954, but it was founded as ATA Foundation. Then they made it a 501c, and that's, American Transportation Research Institute, and that is where the government gets all their trucking statistics. Um, so it's like the good old boy system. The only thing we can do is ATA has about 33,000, 35,000 members. Overall, with independents and company drivers, we have a bigger number if we can get unity. Back to the unity thing. And like you said, a couple of you said, we don't have to agree about everything as long as we agree that the industry needs help. Um, and we need to start advocating for ourselves. Even if you don't want to be part of a group, you still need to make that call to your senator or your representative, because if you don't speak up for yourself, they're not going to take interest. So we have to more or less lobby for ourselves. Um, so, I don't know if any of you saw it, but I did a video on Representative Mike Collins talking about the trucking industry and how we're so over-regulated. And people are coming in saying, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, he is one man in the government. And I'm thinking to these commenters, what are you going to do about it? You can't expect these officials, elected officials, to fight for us if we're not fighting for ourselves.
yeah, I
So,
totally agree with you.
I agree with you. I believe that throughout the decades, we have relied or kind of have faith on a individual party, whether you're blue or red. We have always, well, this person's gonna come. And you know what? To my experience, nobody has really fought for us how they supposed to, how we deserve, right? So to me, I agree with you 100%. If we don't get together and work for ourselves, or at least try to uh, make moves in our own behalf, nobody's gonna do them for us, right? So that's why we even the brokers mock us, because we can't agree even in the slightest thing. But to me, trying is something rather than nothing. But to me, I know a little bit about it, about, like studying Gandhi or Martin Luther King, people that were successful on mass movement, and Mother Teresa, how they're by individuals they were able to achieve something, right? And with us being so many, wow, why haven't been able to do something? Why we haven't earned or not earned, but why we haven't gotten the respect, the salary that we deserve? Some of us do. Some of us are getting, like Mitchell says, hey, I'm all right, it's up to you guys. Yeah, that's fine, but it goes more than that. It's about
That's
integrity. It's
Michael, not
about
Mitchell.
honest. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. So to me, it's about integrity, honest, for common good for all of us, not just individually. So to me, that is good information that you have, and I believe in you guys. I believe, like, if you guys have a vision and if we kind of brainstorm, to me that is great. I learned one lesson throughout my life, because there's even division in this. I've learned to lead and I learned to follow. One of the biggest lessons I got is my dispatcher. She's African American and she played college ball. And 4 years ago, she invited me to coach with her high school basketball team. It was a girls' basketball team. So, of course, for me, as a man and not around basketball and girls in the high school, it was new to me. But me, I humbled myself and said, you know what, I'm just gonna follow. Tell me what to do. We ended up winning CIF for the first year that we coached. So just I learned a big lesson. Even as we follow, just trust the one person leading, that they know what they're doing. They have the passion the same way you do. And we ended up winning. So I ended up being blessed just by following. So to me, I learned a big lesson. It's okay to follow somebody that knows how to lead you into winning. So to me, I share with you guys just to say, hey, sometimes we need to lead, sometimes we need to follow, and it's
Yep.
okay. It's okay to trust the system as long as it's in good faith for common good.
Yeah. And I want to put this out there. So you can actually still be a leader and follow someone else on something that you don't know about, but it's going to fix what you have the common goal on changing, right? Does that
That's
make
true.
any sense?
Yeah, that's true.
And I just did a post in the uh, Facebook group, Ignacio. Go see if you could see it.
Yeah, I'll go through it. I'll dissect it and I'll gauge in it. One thing that I will suggest, like for you guys, I don't know who's kind of leading us right now. I will follow you guys, but maybe if we start maybe having some kind of vision of what are we doing, what can we do first, and maybe work together to achieve that goal. I don't know if you guys thought about it. I know we had the transparency thing going with brokers. Okay, I'm all in for that. Where are we at with that? What are we doing? Just like kind of a vision, a goal, and what are we trying to do with it? So maybe we can individually work on that and kind of research things, and maybe what kind of collectively come up with answers or questions. So that's something that we might need to do.
Yeah, it's something that we're working on. I mean, there's so many issues. You can't really just focus on one thing. That's exactly why we're trying to form this, to have different groups, because all of it works together to get change in the industry. One group can work on transparency, one group can work on the advocacy, one group can actually work on the education side, right? Well, we all can educate, really. Every single group can educate on their topic, but
Yeah. So
we need multiple people to be able to do that.
yeah, and that's something that I was thinking of, like when I was thinking of this platform, because as individuals, we can continue doing what our passion is, right? Where our gifts and talents are at, and collectively share them here. And maybe, somebody might come up with a topic where we can talk about next week or so forth. But I believe the numbers uh, are very important right now, so we can kind of
Hmm.
uh, bring them up. And to me, honestly, I believe like if we even get to the maybe 500,000 or even 100,000, right? Maybe in that number we can start focusing in somebody open up their own brokerage. So now with 1,000
We've already got
members,
the brokerage open,
yeah. So
but
look at that. So maybe if we get 100,000 involved, engaged into this platform,
hmm
maybe you can put it out there. Hey, look, I'm going out to this contract. We need 100 trucks dedicated to this lane. Who's willing to join me? Is paying $3 per mile. We need drive ins or flatbeds or whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure why once you engage in these groups and you got uh, uh, 100,000 members, you're gonna come up with 100 trucks with no problem when the pay is okay. So to me, everything comes from unity, right? This is what the talk is all about today. And once you have the numbers, you can start making moves with the same group in good faith, right? With kind of common good, taking care of each other as brothers and sisters in it. So
hmm
to me, the numbers are very important right now. So you can accomplish the rest of the vision, one thing at a time. I believe in the
right.
way I see it.
That's exactly what we're trying to build.
So this week
We just can't get anyone to join up. Like we've gotten a few. We've gotten Mitchell, Otis, Kathy, you. You know, we're starting to make groundway, but we need more.
and that the creating a group is a good way to start because like I said, I still have faith in that because I've seen it happen. I just stopped being active like 4 months ago, and to have 600,000 people, a lot of them committed and trusting you, it's a big thing because trust is very hard to come by nowadays. So to
Yeah,
me, with the numbers and kind of they get to know you, you engage with them through a phone call, through Messenger, you kind of know them, you're right, or they become your friends, just like I met you. So
right.
to me, creating numbers is very important because I believe sooner or later we need to focus. Okay, what do we do with 100,000 members? Can we boycott this broker because they're treating carriers kind of bad or taking advantage of them, or
Mhm.
boycott this truck stop here because they shot somebody
Exactly
there
why
like we
there's a
had in the
broker
past.
timeout board on the
Yeah,
website.
yeah, so that's when you start making moves, and people start getting active. But we need to get the numbers first, and I've seen it happen. So to me, I have faith in this and the system that at least that I know. If you guys got something better, I'd be more than happy just to join you guys and whatever tools we might have to get this going.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Um, but I mean, we need people to join up. Like we've already got the platforms built. We've had them built since day one.
Be,
My
be
my. So I can tell you this. Michael even brought it up that he can't
Hmm?
even invite people into the group. Like he tries to share it and it won't go up.
Oh wow,
So I
that's
think
that.
Facebook is actually blocking the group.
Oh, I was listening to
What's up, Timothy?
hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I was explaining to my wife that I was joining in on y'all's conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut it down here soon. We've already been on for over an hour and a half now. But
Yeah, I've been taking care of some other business and I just now had a
no,
chance
you're
to
good.
join in.
Yeah, you're good.
So
It's all good.
can you bring me up to speed what you guys been talking about just real quick in a nutshell?
We've been talking about Unity, about our Facebook group, a little bit about the truck parking history issues, a little bit about history in general for the trucking.
Yeah, over the last 39 years I've seen a lot of changes.
Oh yeah,
And I can't see who all's on here. For some reason it won't bring my page up very good.
yeah. It's just Ignacio, Kathy, and me. That's it.
Yeah. Hey Ignacio, how you doing, bud?
Hey, doing well. Thank you for asking. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying the weekend at home.
Great to hear that.
Yeah, Michael was in here past time for a change, but he had to drop out.
Right. Mitch is not
He's
on
at
here
work.
tonight.
No, Mitch ended up having to fly out from Minnesota out to Pennsylvania for his company.
Oh wow.
He
I
had to
haven't
go
talked to him all
recover a
week.
truck.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him all week. So you know, I guess really the last time I talked to him is when he bought that go kart truck for his son, and he was going to do
Yeah,
the
that was
reveal
pretty
on
cool.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he was pretty excited about that. So,
yeah.
so what y'all's in a nutshell? What y'all's opinion on this truck parking where you got to pay for everything these days?
Honestly, if I be completely transparent, I just hope they don't end up selling out like a lot of these apps have. To me, I've seen the evolution on it. I'm pretty sure after you driving for so long, just like Chris and Kathy, we've seen the changes. One thing that I noticed is as the cities kind of grow or the towns grow, government gets hard on the trucking industry because of the noise, because of the congestion, because of the roads, right? So what I've seen, even me living here in near the Fontana area where the heart of trucking was, even Fontana has been having a major pushback. And the problem that I see with this app is something that I experienced myself. For example, we had 7 trucks parked in a farm, right? And this farm, they because there's been a major push against farming here in California because they're exempt from taxes. They're promoting building projects, right? Like houses, townhouses. So they've been kicking these farmers out to build around, for example, Chino, Ontario, Fontana.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're basically cleaning up to kind of invite investors into the cities. So what happens with this? Well, truck drivers or trucks are not welcome here anymore. You guys got to go out to the skirts of the city now. So what happens after you have a safe place? For example, I was parking in the same place for 14 years, and this farmer, instead of farming because he had a major clash with the cities, he got into reefer repairs. So he was repairing reefers and renting reefers out. So because he had maybe like 30 spaces open and he used to work on my reefers, he says, "Hey, why don't you just come over here and park in my yard because I know you, I trust you." So we parked there, right? Well, along came development, right? What I'm talking about, inviting
yeah,
projects, homes. So before you know it, all these codes, all this enforcement came in because Chino was growing, right? The city, the townhouses. So the citizens start complaining about the noise, the traffic, and all that. So it puts pressure on the city to come and investigate where are you parking. And once they find out where you're parking, they go in there, they test the zoning, they test the dirt for contamination,
yep.
they test the permits. So they throw the law at you, right? And if you are lacking something, and you know how the law is, they always find something, just like an inspection of truck. If
Yeah,
they
they're
really want to
gonna.
get you for,
Yeah, they're gonna. Especially California, whatever they can do. Because I'm pretty familiar with Fontana. I was leased on to Mercer back in the '90s, and we had a yard out there in Fontana, and we would pack ourselves into that yard. We would help each other park because we were so tight. And when one of the guys needed to leave, you'd be surprised how many trucks had to move so we could get him out, and then we all reconfigured again.
oh, so you know what I'm talking about. So
Yes.
this is what happens, okay? So when finally the owner says, you know what, I already spent so much money fighting the city, trying to be in compliance. I'm just gonna have to clear the yard because they're too much, right? This battle lasted for about 4 years. That's how bad it is. So all of a sudden we had to find a new place to park, right? So we did exactly like what this app is trying to promote, right? People renting their yards. So we got our equipment, we got our trucks, and we found a guy that had a humongous yard in Riverside. And when we ended up moving all this, and a few other companies moved to his yard that for rental reasons, right? A new opportunity. It was even a better price. But when we were settled down after 3 months, we found out that this guy had family issues, that the mom didn't want him to rent the yard. So all of a sudden, the family pressure came and we all had to relocate in an emergency because there was a family dispute. Some things will happen. Another thing where somebody says, because you have relationships after so many years, Another truck driver said, "Hey, they're renting over here in Jurupa Valley." So we got the equipment, went to Jurupa Valley, an emergency kind of situation. We got our trucks and trailers, and we didn't know that the fence in the back was open, and now the homeless, the addicts were breaking in there, getting computers from the truck. So now some of the neighbors got the computers gone, and we're like, man, what's going on with this? So there's a lot of challenges with just open spaces to park. You know, a lot of this renters don't know the policies, don't know the challenges the truck drivers face. They're only thinking, well, I can rent a space for $200, $300. All they see is money, but they don't understand what comes with that money. They don't understand that it needs to have lighting,
Yeah,
protected.
they've had
Yeah.
that same problem in Houston, and uh, same thing that was going on in California. They were still in the ECUs out of the older model Freightliners, especially, and I mean, it was stranding the guys because the ECUs were not available, and they went from $800 to $5,000.
So you
So I
experience that
gotta
as
jump in
well.
here.
Yeah,
I gotta jump in. I am trying to get Truck Parking Club back on. They're not responding to me, so I don't know if we'll ever get them back on. I think Mitchell is going to reach out to them as well, because Mike Lombard actually was the only one that came in, and
right.
he couldn't even answer a lot of the questions that we had. You know, and that's exactly why I wanted Truck Parking Club in here. Like, I want one person from each department in the space. That way, all the questions get answered, right?
Right. Well, see,
Because me and Michael do want to see them succeed, but at the same time, we even got pushback from Labard
yeah,
on some of the issues that we had, right? But
I had
at
a
the same time,
conversation with Mike Lombard about that just a few weeks ago.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and I told him, I said, I wasn't aware that you were a part of them, and now I see that you're working for them. He says, yeah. He says, you know, I'm trying to head it up and promote it pretty heavy. And here's my thing. As long as I've been driving, I've always had a problem with having to pay to park. And when
me as well. So
and
I have mixed feelings on it, and that's kind of why I brought up the whole issue about them going into places that weren't charging for parking, and then all of a sudden they're part of, they have it on their app and they're
yeah,
charging for parking now.
yeah, and the other thing is and Mitchell got mad at me, and I know Mitchell pretty well. Him and I talk all the time, and I always play devil's advocate with him. And here's the reason why communities don't want us in their area. One is the pollution, idling our trucks, which that's not that big of an issue anymore, especially with the emissions that we have these days, and the noise.
Well, not only that, the APUs and the
Yeah,
inverters.
but here's the biggest issue. There was a community in Montana. They were going to put in a new Loves, and the whole community went against Loves because
Hmm.
you go in the back parking lot. What do you see? You see nothing but trash because drivers are too damn lazy to walk over to a trash can.
Yep.
And I seen it in East Texas. I was parked down there, and I was watching a U.S. Express driver. She walked out to her truck, started her truck up, and a giant trash bag come flying out of her truck and just landed right there by her truck. She put it in gear and took off.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, truck drivers aren't they have blame in all of this as well, right?
I've seen it over the
Yeah.
years.
So
You
have
know,
I.
many years. You know, guys will come in, they'll throw their empty pallets in the back, they'll
Hmm.
sweep out their trash because they're simply too lazy to police themselves. And I've asked. I've encountered a bunch of them, and I've confronted them. So why can't there's a trash can 50 feet from you? I ain't got time for that. I said, but you got time to throw your trash on the ground and make it bad for everybody else. And then pretty soon they say, we don't want trucks here no more.
Yep. And then they want to
And
start charging for parking because now they got to cover a cost to hire someone to clean it up.
yeah, and I've actually, right here where I live in West Texas, I've considered buying about 10 acres of land right over here off of Highway 60. I thought, well, hell, I might as well get in on the deal too, you know. But I am I'm the opponent of paid parking, and because to me it's extortion of the drivers. But at the same time, I understand where they're coming from
Yeah.
because truck drivers have done it to ourselves. We've done it to ourselves because they're too damn trashy to pick up their own trash or walk over to a trash can and throw their trash away.
See, I've got a solution for all of this. A lot of these truck parking spots have cameras, right?
Yeah,
Every single truck has a company name,
yeah,
DOT number.
yeah, yeah.
See where I'm
Send a
going with
bill to
that?
their company.
Yep,
Send a bill to their company.
exactly.
You know,
Well,
and hold these guys.
well, I'm a firm believer. I think you have a very good point, and that's basically what they're saying. I made a study on fuel prices, right? Like compare, like for our business, how can we save money or how can we fuel where it's cost efficient? And I love Cuties and Mavericks because they're maybe like 20, 30 cents less than the Loves and Pilot. And even though we had a loyalty card with a Flying J and Pilot, we were not saving even more than the prices they had at Mavericks and Cuties. So I went ahead and asked them, hey, why is it that you are selling your fuel for 30, 40 cents cheaper than the competition? And they said, because we don't have a lot of parking. And that kind of makes sense to what you're saying, right? They don't have to clean up, they don't have to babysit.
Yeah,
Uh, so that is actually beneficial to us, right? Like we can just fuel up and get going. But
Well,
to me, I
well, see,
believe, I believe
I
that.
quit. I
Uh-huh.
quit buying fuel at Maverick because I bought fuel there in Albuquerque, and I was sitting there for a few minutes, and I had to unload right across the street at Coca Cola, and I had about 30 minutes. And a security cop came out there and told me, "Get off the property now." And I said, "I just bought fuel. I've got to go right across the street here in about 30 minutes. You're not allowed to park here."
hey
Yeah,
guys,
that's
I'm
what.
gonna have to shut it down. I gotta get a
Okay.
shower and get back on the road. I've
Okay,
already.
Okay.
guys.
Well, I'm going to try to join in a little bit earlier next week. I was right in the process of doing some short term trading, and so I was tied up with that. And but I'll be back on the road Monday, and just I'm one of the fortunate ones. I have regular regional runs these days. I park at the feed yards. I have regular stuff that I park in Kansas and Nebraska, and I can when I go to the ranches, I can if I need to go to sleep, I can sleep on the ranches and all that. And so I'm one of the fortunate ones. But when I was running OTR pulling the reefer, especially back east in the southeast, it was always bad. Very hard time to find a place to park.
Yeah,
So I can understand the need for paid parking in certain areas, but not nationwide.
yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
agree.
All right, guys.
Well,
Well, thank you guys for everything. Learned a lot today. Hopefully, God willing, we get to hear each other next weekend.
All right. Well, you guys be safe out there. And hey, did you ever get my text message? I text you about X, what kind of account you have?
Who you
who?
talking to?
Justice.
I don't remember. I get so many notifications and texts, and I think I seen
Send me,
something from you. I
yeah,
don't remember what it was though.
send me a text because I have a free subscription, but I was wanting to know what package you have. But send me a message when you have time explaining that.
Okay.
Alrighty?
Yeah, and next week I'm actually got uh two different independent brokers that's coming in. We're gonna go over the brokerage side of
Awesome.
things.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
All
So,
right, guys. Well, thank you
all right, guys,
guys.
we
Have a
y'all
wonderful
be
weekend.
safe.
All right.
You
You
Y'all
guys
too.
be
too.
safe and enjoy your shower.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
All
Okay.
right,
Thanks,
You're
see you guys.
welcome.
Kathy. Thanks for everything you've been
You're
doing.
welcome.
I really
You're
Okay.
welcome.
appreciate it.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
We'll
See
catch
you
you guys
guys.
later.
Uh,
All right,
bye.
y'all take care.